Hi, and welcome back to Life Changing Solutions Live. Again, because of the technical issues, we weren't able to get a friend of mine, Richard Powell, but thank you so much, Richard, for your willingness to do this for me. But the schedule just didn't allow for him to be able to interview me. So luckily, we have Miss Barbara in the studio, and she's actually going to put me on the hot seat. So we're going to kind of switch roles here. So thank you, Barbara, for doing this.
You're welcome.
So,
Okay,
so let's swap.
why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself?
I laugh because it's like I do that a lot to a lot of my guests, so this is weird. But no,
Now you know.
right? Like now I know what it feels like. So about myself in general, it's like I have 3 kids. I'm a mom. And I really put that at the forefront in a lot of things that I do, and I'm very passionate about that. I'm passionate about parenting. As a whole, like I'm a therapist, I'm a personal development trainer, but I'm also a friend. It's just like that question I always feel so loaded, and I struggle in answering it because I feel that we as humans or as people, we're more than just one thing. We're more than the label. And sometimes it just threads through everything that we do. You know, it's like, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a businesswoman, but going back to being mom, it doesn't stop me from being mom. Does that make sense? Or when I'm at home with the kids, it doesn't stop me from being that. So it's like, it's just funny that you're doing like that question just really brings up so much, because what I say in the line of work that I do, it's like I am all things and I am no thing.
Very good answer. So, what exactly do you do? Say, like your day-to-day roles.
Oh, again, that one's like, it's tricky because I live my life in such a way that I live out of my purpose. And to some, it may seem like the outsider may look at it as I'm disorganized sometimes, but I'm not. Like today I'm here at the studio, so today I get to do this, and this is what my focus is. In the last couple of days leading up to this, that's what I've been preparing for, and getting, the guests together and stuff like that. But then I meet with clients and I support and consult them in their businesses. As a hobby, I create videos, so I'm talking to them and doing that. But my purpose really is, and my passion is in supporting others. And I feel that I'm one of the lucky ones because I discovered my purpose about 18-20 years ago, and started off with my mom. She was sick, and actually, she died literally in my arms, and I took care of her for 2 years before she actually passed away. And it's like I fell in love with that process, though. I literally just I'm like, you know what? It wasn't a burden. It was like so much of a blessing to be able to be there with her. And then from there, I started, I thought I wanted to be a nurse or a doctor. So I started doing, going to school for that. And then I quit, realized that wasn't it. And then, I started working with mentally disabled adults and traumatically brain injured adults. And that brought me into the mental health world and social work. And then I became a therapist. So everything that I've done has been out of that passion and that purpose of mine to support and help others. And now it's like I've discovered personal development. So I've been evolving in my career and in what my purpose, and it doesn't always look the same.
Right, day to day.
Right,
Yeah.
it doesn't, but the purpose and who I am, it's always in support and empowering others.
Good. So you have an event coming up, a workshop.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us a little bit about the workshop?
Yeah, actually, I'm really excited about that one. Well, for so many reasons. But one, it's like, as I mentioned, like I've been doing personal development for about 5 years in that, like specifically. And I was trained, and I've written and designed a lot of workshops and trainings for others. I've supported other speakers. So I've been behind the scenes, or I've co-facilitated a lot of trainings. So when I say that this is my very first one, it's my very first one. It's my baby.
Well, you flipped the script, and now you're in front of everybody instead of behind the scenes.
Right. Like I'm not the one hurting everybody and supporting here and doing this. And it's me. I designed this. I'm the one delivering it. So it's like, this is my baby. So first of all, that's one of the reasons I'm super excited. And also, I think I waited For now, because I have a lot of design or workshops that I've designed, but none of them have made me feel the way that I do about this one.
The passion behind it.
Right. It's just like this one just sparks me up. Like the other ones are like, oh, that's good. But this one is just like, it just, like, I couldn't say no to it. It was like, my body, like, was just like, okay, we're doing this. Like, and next thing you know, I'm like,
Exploding with passion.
So, but in particular about this workshop in and of itself, Design Your Purpose and Thrive, as I mentioned, like, that's really what I'm big about. And I think that's why naturally I would feel about that. But also in the course of my career, and working and being with people, I have been with people who feel guilty, who shame themselves, who just have these struggles and hold themselves back because they feel that they have a penance to pay. You know, the woulda, coulda, shoulda conversation, or I'm not enough. And it's like, no. You know what I mean? It's like, really, you should, and it's not like a wooey, like, oh, love yourself. Like, I'm a very real person, and I will, like, concretely tell it like it is. But at the same time, it's like, it's okay to make the mistakes. There's nothing to be embarrassed of. It's like these little lessons, you know, or these mistakes can be lessons in life, and just really make something of that. And really embracing yourself and finding what your purpose is and living out of that. Because sometimes we'll say, like, oh, I want the big house. And you do everything to get it, and then you're like, I'm still empty.
Right.
You know, I feel like something's missing. And it's just like, no. So when you find what's really important to you, naturally things will come, which could, if it's important to you, it could manifest in the big house, in the car, in the vacation. Or it could just be like, you know what, just having a stable, place and shelter. Or it could be traveling the world. You know, but really living out of your purpose and doing what's right for you, and there's no guilt on that.
Right. And I think that anytime that someone finds success or starts down the road to success, there's always the guilt and the shame. A lot of it is putting yourself out there and the worrying of rejection.
Yeah, and
I
those
really
fears,
so.
and dealing with those fears, and that's like, I also speak into that, and it's, I do experiential training, and it's really hard for me to explain that, because really what I do, I have processes that I've developed that put you in the experience, and allow you to really feel whatever it is, and so to bring, and it helps you bring up those things, and you can figure out what your fears are, because it's like, you know, we're afraid to succeed just as much as we're afraid to fail.
Right. And you have to fail in order to succeed.
Right.
It's
so
just
it's
a process.
Right. But in being okay with that and being comfortable with it, and not, you know, it's funny for me, I used to have a counseling center, and I closed it down last year, and everybody's like, or not everybody, but I had a few people like, oh gosh, I'm so sorry. You know, it's like, you were doing so well and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, you know, like, I didn't fail, but they saw it as a failure. And being okay with that, and just like, I mean, there was a part of me where I'm like, maybe.
How's this going to be perceived?
Right, like I was, but at the same time, because I was living my purpose, and I knew, and I so clearly that although I do feel that there's a place and a time for therapy, it just didn't belong to me anymore. So for me to keep going down that road and beating that horse, I was like, nope, I just need to shut those doors and move over here. And so, you know, but again, to some, they perceived it as it being a failure. And it's just like, for me, that was one of the biggest things. It was uncomfortable. Like, that whole year, 2017, for me, the way that I describe it is, my life is like a pair of dreams in the dryer, just kind of like tumbling around.
I know what you mean, sister.
You know what I mean? It was just like so much change that now it has brought me back to, this is my year, this is my time. And now that I've really honed in on my how and my why, I'm going to support others. I've developed this training to be able to support others in that way and figuring out what their purpose is.
So let me ask you this. What is your ideal client?
Humans.
Anybody that talks, walks,
or not. Like, I've even, because honestly, I mean, like I said, it's like in the course of my career, I'm there for anybody. and I've been there in different ways and levels, but specifically for this training, it's just really anybody who's willing to take on their life and just doesn't have the know-how. And in this training, I call it a blueprint. You're going to find out what your purpose is, and you're going to walk out of there with something tangible in your hand, where on Monday you can start taking the steps to really set yourself up to be living out of your purpose.
And now, what day is this, and what are the times again?
So the workshop itself, it's June 22nd and 23rd. So it's a Friday night, evening, and then all day Saturday.
Okay.
And 10% of the proceeds are going to be donated to the Shade Tree, a domestic violence shelter. And, today kind of the theme has been creating those win-wins. And I'm also donating this workshop to the women of the shelter. So it's like, yes, am I charging a fee for this? And does everybody, get to win? Absolutely. But because of that, I get to give it away and give it to these women who really need that support and that additional, just empowerment and love.
I don't tell a lot of people this, but I'm actually a domestic violence survivor, so I understand totally.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And it's like, and that's the thing, it's like everybody, I think, so again, who my target is, I think that's another reason why I'm like, I struggle with that, because it's just like, I feel that this is for anybody who really wants to just take their life on and move forward. And anybody can really gain from this and learn. There's, in personal development, we talk about like the woo and then the tangibles, and just kind of, for me, I have, and it's funny because I actually have a process that's called the pendulum, and it's about flowing between, the intangible to the tangible, and how to make your life work where it's just in harmony, where you're going in and out and you're flowing through it. And that's part of also learning how to live your life in such a way that it's organized, but you're still, creating and evolving day to day and impacting others. That's the other thing too that I speak into, is we create a ripple constantly. Just our way of being creates ripples, and it affects others. The intensity and how we may not know because we're not aware of it. We're not consciously saying, hey, you know what, today I want to make your day better, so this is my ripple, right? But we're just being, us creates that just exchange. And so in this workshop, you're also going to realize, and there's going to be a tangible moment where you're going to see what kind of ripples you're creating just for taking yourself on, just for you wanting to change your life. Immediately, it's going to create an impact in somebody else.
Very good. It's kind of like picturing that blue water with the one drop going in, and it takes how many drops to make that blue water. So you're the drop, and how many people can you affect? Right. And that's what I always have to remind myself. Like when I talk to people or do anything, I always say, okay, how is this going to affect them? And I try and run through that. Mm-hmm. So very good.
And it's just learning, how is it going to affect me and how is it going to affect you? Because again, in the creating, something that I've learned in the social service world, and it was a lesson for me, like this was my lesson, is in setting boundaries, mm-hmm. and saying that it's okay for me to take care of me first and then you, right. Without it being me feeling guilty about that.
Or narcissistic.
Yeah. Or feeling selfish. Like it was like, no, it just having it be okay where we're all being taken care of, and it starts with us, and it is that one drop. That one drop does create that ripple. So if I'm not okay, it's something that I used to tell my clients all the time. It's like, if you're not okay, those around you are not going to be okay.
Right.
And so it starts with us and investing in us, and doing what we need to do so that we as individuals can be okay, so that I can turn around and give more to you.
Very good. That explains it. I'm so glad that I stayed to help you out. And is there anything else that you want to say about your workshop or your business, or how do people reach you?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for stepping in. So yeah, and catch her show tomorrow live, by the way. Like, I don't want to take it away from me. But also, you can find me on Life Changing Solutions Facebook. You can also Angie Amico on Facebook. Those are the quickest ways. And then to buy the tickets for the workshop, those are $249. But the link is Design Your Purpose and Thrive at eventbrite.com.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you guys. Catch you next week. Bye.